When you're in a job where a split second of focus can make or break everything, think high-stakes trading or maybe even complex coding, what are you actually using to keep distractions out? Have you ever thought about whether what's in your headphones or maybe the complete lack of sound directly changes the outcome? The numbers on the screen. Today, we're doing a deep dive into exactly that, the strategic use of sound in high-pressure situations, specifically looking at the trading soundtrack, music, focus, and performance.
Yeah, our mission here is really to boil down the insights from our sources on how traders manage this intense cognitive load. It's less about just what they like to listen to
Hmm.
and more about how they use sound or even silence, almost like a weapon, a tool for keeping that focus sharp. We're aiming to give you the shortcut to understanding this, well, this specific mental toolkit. And the big question really that came out of the sources was, does adding something external like music actually help or hurt when you need maximum brain power? What we found is it's almost never random. It's a calculated choice, a response to their mental state and the market itself.
Right, let's jump straight into that because the first big finding really splits people into two camps, doesn't it? This concentration divide you mentioned, basically sound or silence.
Exactly.
So for a pretty big group of these high performers, it's all about absolute quiet, total silence, but it's not just, oh, I like it quiet. The sources suggest it's more fundamental. It's about minimizing the auditory noise floor.
Yeah, think about it. When your brain is already working at full capacity, any little extra thing it has to process, even subconsciously filtering out the air conditioning hum, that takes up resources. It can potentially compromise performance.
So silence is like decluttering the auditory input.
Precisely. It ties into what psychologists call cognitive load theory. Every single sound, even one you think you're ignoring, costs a tiny bit of mental energy. For traders relying on spotting patterns, making instant calls, getting rid of that background processing noise is key to maximizing their mental bandwidth. They see sound as a tax.
A tax on the system. I like that. Silence is the ultimate firewall. Okay, but hang on. If silence is the best way to free up mental space, then why do so many traders use music? Doesn't that just add more noise? Isn't it inherently distracting?
That's the interesting part. It seems to come down to auditory gating. For the music listeners, the sound isn't a distraction. It's actually a defense mechanism. They're not just choosing music for fun, they're choosing to control their sound environment. Because the real enemy isn't sound itself, it's unpredictable sound.
Like phones ringing, people talking nearby, sirens outside.
Exactly. Stuff your brain has to constantly monitor and evaluate because it's random, it interrupts your flow. But music, especially instrumental stuff, with a steady beat, predictable harmonies.
Right.
That's predictable. It kind of creates this stable wall of sound, sonic camouflage, you could call it.
Okay, sonic camouflage. I get it.
So by putting on this constant, controllable sound stream, they're effectively blocking out the unpredictable chaos that actually demands more mental processing.
That makes a lot of sense. Predictable stimulus masking unpredictable chaos. That's a powerful idea. And the sources were specific about the types of music used for this, right? We're not talking pop hits or rock anthems here.
No, definitely not. The genres that kept coming up tended to have some common threads, mostly instrumental or at least non-lyrical, and often with a really consistent tempo, usually somewhere in that 60 to 90 beats per minute range.
Like ambient.
Electronic.
Maybe some classical. Lo-fi.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Those kinds of things. The rhythm acts like an anchor. It's about creating a very specific sonic mood, one that's consistent and doesn't demand much cognitive effort. It's not meant to excite you, it's meant to stabilize you.
Okay, so music as a stabilizer against external noise. But then the research suggests it gets even more sophisticated, like managing the mood of the market itself.
This is where it gets really interesting, yeah. It moves beyond just blocking out office chatter. It's about actively using music to counteract the market's own emotional state.
Counteracting the market's mood. How does that work?
Well, the main strategy highlighted was using calm music for chaos. Think about when some huge unexpected news hits, the market goes nuts, right? Volatility spikes, prices are all over the place. The natural human reaction is stress cortisol, racing heart, tunnel vision.
Which is pretty much the worst state to be in for making rational decisions.
Exactly. Your instinct might be to ramp up your own energy to match the market's frenzy, you know? Feel hyped up to fight the chaos. But the strategic traders often do the exact opposite. They deliberately put on deep, calming music, tracks specifically chosen, maybe, for their very low BPM, sometimes even mimicking a resting heart rate.
Wow. So the music is acting like a physical intervention.
Kinda, yeah. It's a visceral anchor. It helps regulate the nervous system directly. The sound encourages the heart rate to slow down, helps override that panic signal from the amygdala, and it creates this layer of analytical distance between the trader and the absolute chaos on their screens.
That's fascinating. But isn't there a risk there if the music is calming you down, overriding the panic?
Yeah.
Could it make you numb? Like you might filter out the very danger signal, the market chaos that you actually need to react to.
That's a really good point, a valid concern. But the sources seem to suggest the goal isn't numbness, it's measured detachment. They're not trying to block the information itself, they're trying to stop that information from triggering an immediate emotional, impulsive reaction. The music helps ensure their response stays cognitive, analytical, rather than, primal fear. They need to see the chaos clearly, but they can't afford to feel it internally, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. High-speed analysis without the high-speed anxiety.
You got it. It's like lowering the psychological leverage, even while the financial leverage might still be sky high.
Okay, so calm music for market chaos. What about the flip side? What happens when the market is just dead? Slow, boring, nothing happening.
Well,
Because boredom can be just as dangerous for a trader, right? Losing focus, missing something important when it finally does happen.
absolutely. Vigilance decrement, they call it, that drop in alertness. And that's where the second big strategy kicks in, using hype music for slow sessions.
Okay, so cranking up the energy when the market is flatlining.
Exactly. Boredom causes mental fatigue. Your alertness drops, especially, maybe after lunch or during those long stretches where absolutely nothing seems to be moving. Your mind starts to drift. And that drift could cost a fortune if there's a sudden breakout you weren't ready for.
So how does the music fight that lull?
By being stimulating. High energy soundtracks, again, often instrumental, maybe fast electronic music, trance, techno,
Yeah.
stuff with a driving repetitive beat. Here, the music is basically acting like a stimulant. It's providing the energy, the drive, the readiness that the market itself isn't offering at that moment.
Keeping them wired, essentially.
Yeah, keeping the mind alert and ready to react the second things pick up speed or volume. It's really like a personalized dose of cognitive stimulus. It helps maintain that high vigilance, that ability to respond quickly to rare events, even when the environment is giving you zero reason to be vigilant.
This idea of personalized dosing. It leads right into this concept of trader playlists that the sources mentioned. These aren't just random collections of songs, are they? They ever sound like seriously curated tools.
Oh, completely. The research suggested traders put real time and effort into building and refining these playlists. They're not just picking songs they enjoy. They're actively testing tracks to see which ones consistently produce the exact mental state they need, whether that's sharp focus, calm detachment, or heightened readiness.
Like tuning an instrument.
Yeah, or maybe like optimizing software for their brain. It's a constant feedback loop. If a track doesn't work, maybe it distracts them or triggers the wrong emotion, brings up a bad memory, whatever, it gets cut immediately.
Makes sense.
And that's why you see certain tracks or playlists on repeat. That consistency is key. The brain actually likes that predictability when it's dealing with the inherent unpredictability of the market.
And this whole idea ties into the modern reality of trading too, doesn't it? The sources mentioned traders needing to travel while staying plugged in.
That's a huge factor now. Your office isn't always an office. It could be an airport lounge, a hotel room halfway across the world.
Environments that are usually terrible for concentration. Lots of random noise, visual clutter.
Exactly. Totally unpredictable and often chaotic. So that personalized soundtrack, it becomes their portable concentration bubble. Hitting play instantly recreates that familiar, optimized sonic environment no matter where they physically are. It's like a psychological anchor.
Ensuring that focus stays consistent, even when they're moving between time zones, dealing with jet lag.
Right. Critical when the markets never sleep. The playlist becomes the anchor for their mental space, their working environment.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up for you, the listener. What we've really seen from the sources is that sound, or the lack of it, isn't just background fluff for traders. It's a serious, sophisticated tool for managing focus in incredibly high-stress jobs.
Yeah.
And the main takeaway seems to be this idea of strategic sound as emotional counter-regulation, using calm sounds to anchor yourself against market chaos, and then using high-energy sounds to fight off boredom and fatigue when things get slow. It's about matching the tool to the specific cognitive challenge.
Exactly. Which leads to a kind of interesting final thought, something to maybe chew on from all this. If peak performance in these fields really requires such specific external aids, whether it's total silence or that perfectly curated 60 BPM track, What does that say about our internal ability to focus? It feels like we're using these sounds to manage incredibly internal processes, right? Our own thoughts, emotions, concentration levels. So does relying on that perfect soundtrack make someone more resilient, giving them a dependable anchor? Or could it create a kind of dependency, maybe making it harder to concentrate without that specific auditory setup?
A fascinating question.
It really is. So maybe think about the sounds you use to focus, to manage stress, to get through your own day. Are they just adding noise, or are they actually serving as that personalized layer of cognitive protection? Something to consider.